What is up, people, and welcome back to my Rags to Riches F1 2010 to 2014 career mode. This is the career mode where we go from one of the worst teams in F1 2010, work our way up through the ranks and through the teams, and try and get a drive for one of the best teams in F1 2014. We are currently in that F1 2014, driving for a pretty decent team of Ferrari. And if we have a look at the standings after the first 5 episodes, I think it is, we're currently in 6th place. We are only on 39 points, but we got a podium last time around at the Spanish Grand Prix. So it looks like our fortunes are starting to change, but we need to pick up the pace and catch up to the 2 leaders. If we can do that, then we will be in we will have a seriously good chance of competing for the Drivers' Championship this season. So fingers crossed that is exactly what we can do. But looking at the emails going into today's Monaco Grand Prix, as we look all the way up, because for some reason F1 2014 emails are broken. Teammate challenge apparently is looking bad, which to be fair it is, but we're starting to pick it up. Oh no, look at that. It's going to rain in Monaco. It's going to rain during the race in Monaco. That's not what I need. I don't need rain in Monaco right now. At least hopefully it can cause other drivers to crash out, and as long as I can keep it clean, I may be able to get a good result. First podium of the year, and race results data, you guys can look at that if you want. If you have missed any of the previous episodes, go catch up in the card annotation in the top right hand corner of your screens, by the way. You'll have the previous episode of Spain, and you will also have all of the whole entire series up there in a playlist for you guys to go and enjoy. But looking at the teammate challenge, okay, it is looking bad, but we are starting to catch Fernando Alonso out. We're only 1 behind in the out race, 1 behind in podiums, 5 behind in out qualified, which is terrible, 1 behind on fastest laps, and we're not too far off him in the championship points as well. So hopefully we can catch him up on that one. But without any further ado, let's head over to the jewel in the F1 calendar, the Monaco Grand Prix. Here we go then, 1 shot qualifying for the busiest lap on the F1 calendar. Now, this is going to be a lap where I'm not actually going to talk that much during it, because it's usually, you know, you need to concentrate so much on this lap. So, I'm going to shut up now, and let's see what we can do. Okay, so far we are looking pretty good at the moment. 9 tenths up on the pole position time as we go through sector 2. It's looking like we could be on for pole position. Oh, that's not going to help us through the final corner. I think I've completely bottled it as we go down towards the line. Is it going to be good enough? No, it's not. But we are into the top 6. I will take that at the end of the day. I will take that. Yes, we probably should have got pole position. It's just like in F1 2011 where we were on for pole and then we bottled it right to the end. But we are in P6. We are in the top 10 for the first time this season at one of the most difficult circuits on the F1 calendar. So is that saying to you guys that we're getting good at this game? We are slowly but surely getting good at the 2014 game. If we can just carry on this form, then we could potentially have the chance of starting to win races and catch up to the leaders in the championship as well. It's unfortunate, yes, that we didn't get pole position. I am actually gutted, because I would have loved to have got my first pole position of the season at the Monaco Grand Prix, because this is a track where I do tend to do well at, especially compared to the other AI drivers. So fingers crossed we can work our way through the field, even though it is a track which overtaking is difficult. We'll see what we can do down in towards turn 1 and maybe during the pit stop phases as well. But Lewis Hamilton, he's on pole position, beating Nico Rosberg by 3 hundredths of a second. Then Fernando Alonso is in 3rd, 7 hundredths of a second behind. So very close between the top 3. I really should have been up there because I was 9 tenths of a second up. I lost 1.3 seconds pretty much compared to the leaders just by having that one collision with the barrier. I would have got pole position otherwise. If not, you know, maybe not losing so much time, I could have been up there with those top 3 guys. Sebastian Vettel, he's in 4th, Hulkenberg's 5th, there's myself in 6th, Ricciardo 7th, Button 8th, Massa 9th, and Valtteri Bottas rounds out the top 10. Any surprise in qualifying? No, not really. So let's see what we can do from 6th on the grid. It's race day for the Monaco Grand Prix, the jewel in the crown that is the Formula One season, and we are starting in our best qualifying position of the season so far in P6. Yes, okay, we may have bottled qualifying. We were on pole position, unfortunately making a mistake into the anti-nodes corner. Cost a lot of time. There's a 79% chance of rain though, so the rain is going to come down at some point. We just need to make sure we are on the right strategy forte, starting on the option tyres because we have to. Do we have to? I'm pretty sure we have to, don't we? Okay, it's letting us switch tyres for some reason, even though we qualified in the top 10. I can switch tyres, but I'm not going to at the same time, because I feel that that would be actually quite unfair on the other guys, especially if the prime tyres last longer and then the rain comes down. We'll wait and see what the strategy is going to be like. Unfortunately, Alonso has outqualified me once again this season. That makes it 6-0 to Alonso, but it just goes to show today that we do have the potential to beat him in a qualifying session. So fingers crossed we can do that in the next couple of rounds. Anything else to talk about? Not really. So let's head down to the track and get today's race underway. No prizes for guessing who would be in pole position for today's race. Lewis Hamilton makes it 6 pole positions out of 6 here at the Monaco Grand Prix with my teammate Fernando Alonso up in 3rd. Good qualifying session for both the Ferraris, with Alonso 3rd and myself in 6th. Hulkenberg as well having a really good qualifying session yesterday. As the lights are coming on now, we go to 5 red lights. It is lights out and away we go for the Monaco Grand Prix down towards turn 1. Can we pick up any positions in towards the first corner? Just going to take it nice and cautiously, looking up the inside in between both the Force India and the Red Bull. We've sort of been pinned against both drivers, very, very close between the barriers of these two drivers. Oh my god, just about getting through there. Okay, there was contact between the 3 of us, but no one going completely into the barriers and throwing their race away, as we're now up into P4, struggling a little bit with the grip and the heavier fuel, but we should be able to, get used to the track very, very quickly, as we are now right behind Nico Rosberg, looking to see whether we can get past the Mercedes driver, but just running it very, very wide into corners at the moment. Really struggling to get the car turned in right now. The car just does not want to turn at the moment. Our tyres, they're not worn, so I don't know what is going on. Maybe it's because we're just a bit heavy with fuel at the moment. We just have to wait and see how the rest of this race goes on. Apologies if I'm not talking as much in this race compared to the usual ones, mainly because I just want to concentrate on the race ahead of me, as there was a yellow flag down towards sector 2, but I'm going to be quiet now. I need to concentrate on this race, and I need to try and catch up to Nico Rosberg without making any mistakes here today. Going to have a little look up the inside now of Nico Rosberg, down in towards the Lowe's hairpin. It's going to be so slow up the inside on Nico Rosberg, and there we go, getting the job done on the Mercedes driver, moving up onto the podium. This could be 2 podiums in a row here at the Monaco Grand Prix, and what a place to do. There's 21 runners left in the race, so somebody has crashed out somewhere, but now we've got to try and catch up to my teammate of Fernando Alonso and then see what we can do on Lewis Hamilton. Come on guys, I'm quicker than Alonso. Tell him to let me through. He is holding me up big time. I can get Lewis. I know that I can overtake Lewis. I know I'm quick around here. I was on for pole. Just tell Fernando to let me through. Engine is seriously overheating at the moment. I could put it down into standard mix, but I really need to get past Fernando Alonso at the moment. Oh, look how close I am now to the back of Alonso as we go down in towards Raskas. I'm going to have a little look up in towards the anti-nodes corner. Nah, just not close enough. I thought I was going to have a little look up the inside there. I thought it was going to be close enough. We will get DRS on Alonso, but the exit out of that corner, and there's just not enough straight down in towards Saint-Devote to really gain that advantage and go for the overtake on Alonso as I get a warning for corner cutting. Rightly so, I did cut across the Saint-Devote corner there, so not exactly the best of lines from me, but still very much on the back of my teammate at the moment. Alonso, you need to let me pass, buddy. I'm so much quicker than you. You're holding me up so much right now. Maybe try and get him down towards the Lowe's hairpin like I did on Rosberg. So here we go, down towards the Lowe's hairpin. Going to have a look up the inside like I did on Nico Rosberg. Here we go, side by side with my teammate, giving him as much room as I possibly can. There we go, job done on Fernando Alonso. Let's go get Lewis Hamilton. And luckily, now I'm in free air. This should really help cool down my engine, because just look at that. It is boiling hot at the moment. We seriously need to cool that down. I'm not 100% sure right now, but I think I'm seeing a few spots of rain out on track. Unfortunately, we're not going to see it as we go through the tunnel, obviously, but just have a look on the screen at the moment. I can't see right now because I'm too busy concentrating on my driving down in towards the Nouvelle chicane, but I think there are a few little droplets of rain coming down at the moment. Fastest lap then of this Monaco Grand Prix so far. That's exactly what we need to do if we want to try and catch up to Lewis Hamilton. Although the gap hasn't come down too much. I think it was only like 3.3 seconds or something like that on the previous lap. But we are closing in slowly but surely to Lewis Hamilton. Oh, okay. Good news there from Jeff. Hamilton has an engine problem in this Monaco Grand Prix. Apparently, his engine is sounding sick, according to Jeff. So if he has an engine problem, that's going to give us a great opportunity not only to catch up to him, to get past him, and for Alonso to get past him as well. If he can drop right down the field, then that'd be seriously good news for me in the championship. Okay, we're supposed to be coming into the pits on this lap. However, the rain is coming down. I don't think we're a million miles away from the intermediate tyres. So Hamilton comes into the pits. I'm going to stay out for dry tyres. I'm not too sure what on earth the other drivers are coming in for, but I believe if they were coming in for intermediate tyres, then Alonso and Rosberg behind me would have also pitted. I get another warning for corner cuts there. I really need to sort out my line down in towards turn 1. It's not good enough at the moment, but hopefully this strategy will be exactly what I need to go on to win today's race, because I feel like if I can just hold out a little bit longer on these super soft tyres. As Jeff's telling me it's starting to rain, I thought maybe he'd be telling me to come in for intermediate tyres. I'm just waiting for that call. As soon as I get that call for intermediate tyres, then I will pit. At the moment, I don't need to. Okay, Alonso and Rosberg are now into the pits on this lap. So, when are we going to be going in for the intermediate tyres? I think it's definitely going to be within the next 2 laps. My tyres are starting to fade. They're not terrible at the moment. There is still a bit of a grip on the tyres. We are slipping into corners though, and struggling with acceleration out of corners, but at least we're not slip and sliding all over the place. That is when we have a problem. Has Alonso though come out ahead of Lewis Hamilton? I'm not too sure. Looking at the standings at the moment, just waiting for that to update. Alonso, please say you come out ahead of Hamilton. That would be amazing if you have. Come on. Oh, no, he's just behind Lewis Hamilton, but he is still ahead of Nico Rosberg. And Hamilton, if he still has that engine problem, that's really good news for us in this championship. 17 seconds is the gap at the moment. I have a huge lead over the rest of the field because of this strategy. If it works, that is. The good thing about everybody coming into the pits, though, for a new set of prime tyres is it just takes that edge off me. I don't have any pressure on my driving at the moment. I can just keep it nice and calm all the way around this circuit as I just, get towards the intermediate tyre phase. So I have no issues whatsoever at the moment. I shouldn't get held up in the pit stop phase, fingers crossed. The only thing that can go wrong is if I pit at the wrong time. Pit too early or pit too late, and that could be my race over. But so far, these super soft tyres are still working. They're still able to grip. Okay, we are now starting to struggle for grip out on track. I feel like we've still got one more lap left in these super soft tyres, and I just want to wait for the other drivers to make that gamble, because then I know for sure that there we go. So now Jeff's telling me I am on the wrong compound, so maybe it would have been a good idea to come into the pits on the previous lap, but I just wanted to make sure. I wanted to make sure I was going onto the right tyres at the right time. I didn't want to get caught out and lose this massive gap that I have over the rest of the field. I'm not too sure whether Lewis Hamilton has come into the pits or not yet, so we just have to wait and see for that. Okay, so looks like Lewis Hamilton, Fernando Alonso, and Nico Rosberg and myself are the only drivers not to come into the pits yet for a set of intermediate tyres. So it looks like I'm not actually going to lose out to the guys that I am actually battling with out on track, which is pretty decent news. I am really struggling for grip at the moment. We're just going to make sure we have selected the right tyres, because we don't want to make that mistake where we come into the pits for dry tyres and we are going to go down in towards lean mix. It's so difficult trying to change all the different options whilst trying to drive around this circuit. And I do not know how real-life F1 drivers manage to do it with all the different options that they have on their cars. I mean, we just have a directional pad, up, down, left, right, sorted. They have so many different buttons. But anyway, into the pits we go for a set of intermediate tyres, just to make sure we're going onto the intermediate tyres. I'm just going to select it one more time. But into the pits we go, intermediate tyres going on, and we're going to come out with a huge lead still to Lewis Hamilton, Fernando Alonso, and Nico Rosberg. I'm not going to say anything because I don't want to curse the race, but we are looking really good at the moment. I mean, we are looking seriously good for this race right now. As we're coming out of the pit lane, just want to take this nice and cautiously as well. Don't cross the white line, don't want to get a penalty. There we go, out of the pits, and we're looking all good. Okay, Lewis Hamilton is actually catching me up at an alarming rate at the moment, which is not good for the race right now. He's taken off a whole second on me in the previous lap. So we need to step up our game, get up some pace, and make sure that we stay ahead of Lewis Hamilton. Look at that, another 5 tenths out of my time. Wow, Lewis, how are you so quick on these intermediate tyres? Okay, looks like the lap times are returning to normal at the moment. 14.3 seconds is the gap once again to Lewis Hamilton. So, fingers crossed, with 5 laps left to go, we can hold on to this race lead. It would take something massive, a massive mistake for Lewis Hamilton to beat me right now. Right then, coming up to my first lapped driver here at the Monaco Grand Prix, which is really good news, because if by some miracle Lewis Hamilton really does start to catch me up at an alarming rate, he's going to have to get past one of these guys to get past me, as Max Chilton, I think it is, tries to get out of the way. It is Chilton. Oh god, I've gone straight into the barrier. Oh, don't hit the Mercia. That could have been really, really bad. That could have been the mistake that gives Lewis Hamilton the win. I've got a lot of lap drivers coming up later on in the lap as well. So maybe we can catch up to those guys, but we don't really need to. We don't need to push this stage. We're 12.8 seconds ahead of Lewis Hamilton with 2.5 laps left to go. So it looks like this race should be ours. Oh, we've got somebody driving very, very slowly up ahead of me at the moment. So we do have to be careful. There is going to be a driver somewhere around these next couple of corners. Who is it? It's the Sauber of Esteban Gutierrez having problems here at this Monaco Grand Prix. I'm not too sure. Does he have a front wing? No, he doesn't. He's pulling off to the side, and he is unfortunately out of today's Monaco Grand Prix. 20 runners, no, 19 runners, sorry, left in this race. Three people DNFing. I think that's only fair. You know, usually you only get like 1 or 2 people DNFing from these races. 10.0 seconds, 10 seconds flat gap at the moment to Lewis Hamilton. So he's caught up a whole 2 seconds on the previous lap. We're not exactly pushing though at the moment. We know that we've got a huge lead over Lewis Hamilton. There's no need to push, so we're just going to get this car to the end. Here we go then. Final lap of this Monaco Grand Prix. We're leading the way at this current moment. We just need to keep it clean, keep it on the track, keep it out the barriers, and try and get back to the start-finish line. 1 more lap left to go, 1 more lap to keep it clean. Lewis Hamilton is catching us up by like 1 second a sector at the moment, but it's not going to be enough at the end of the day. It is definitely not going to be enough to try and challenge for the lead. But let's just keep it clean on this final lap. Okay then, final couple of corners at this Monaco Grand Prix. It's going to take it nice and easy as we go through Rascasse into the anti-notes corner. No mistakes through the final couple of corners. Down towards the line. It is Monaco, baby. It's a race win, our first of the 2014 season. Get in. What a win. What a race. What a strategy. And we have come out of it victorious here at the Monaco Grand Prix. Starting from 6th, we came back up to 1st. We bottled qualifying, but qualifying isn't a complete job. We managed to make it up in the race. And oh my god, what a result that is. That is exactly what we need in this championship in order to kickstart it and get ourselves underway to try and catch up to the 2 Mercedes drivers and try and get the championship this season. We are going for the championship. We are going to win the Drivers' Championship this season. I've already called it. We're winning it. Alright, you may as well just stop watching because we are going to win this Drivers' Championship. So, we are the race winner today. Lewis Hamilton is in 2nd. Fernando Alonso finishes in 3rd. With Nico Rosberg 4th. Daniel Ricciardo makes his way back up into 5th. Kevin Magnussen, good result there for the McLaren driver in 6th place with Nico Hülkenberg 7th. Valtteri Bottas in 8th. Jenson Button 9th. And Danny Kvyat in 10th. So where was Sebastian Vettel? Sebastian Vettel, one of the DNFs for today's race. That's really going to help me catching up to him in the Drivers' Championship. Esteban Gutierrez, of course, we know of, and Sergio Perez was the driver to not finish on the first lap of today's race. Any real surprises? Not really. All the back markers, unfortunately, where they should be with, yeah, no really. Although Adrian Sutil got very close to scoring points here today, but unfortunately for him, just not close enough. Although Danny Kvyat gets Toro Rosso's first point scoring finish of the season, so well done to him. Drivers' Championship there. Nico Rosberg leads the way, but only by 1 point over his Mercedes teammate. It's just so close between those 2 drivers, and hopefully we can get involved in that as well. We've overtaken Daniel Ricciardo in the Drivers' Championship. We're only 3 points behind Sebastian Vettel and only 4 points behind Fernando Alonso. Although those drivers, they don't really matter. It's all about the top 2. Those are the top 2 we're going for. 56 points is the gap. We've taken a huge chunk out of the gap here today to those guys. So fingers crossed we can take out even more at the next race in Canada. Looking at the Constructors' Championship then, Mercedes still lead the way. A good race result for the Ferraris though, getting 1st and 3rd. That's seriously going to catch them up in the Constructors' Championship. Not by a lot, but by a few points here today. So 107 is now the gap to the Mercedes team. It is still a big gap, but at the end of the day, we've still got a good chance of catching them up still. I mean, there's a lot of races left to go in this season. We've overtaken Red Bull Racing as well and moved up into P2. And there's confirmation of Toro Rosso getting their first points of this season. But that is it for the Monaco Grand Prix. If you have enjoyed this episode, don't forget to smash a like on the video. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't already done so for daily Formula One content. And don't forget to share this video with your friends. And I will see you next time at the Canadian Grand Prix. But until then, it's goodbye from me.